to I did or did not get 15% of the vote, but I am on the ballot. I was also at another convention a month prior to that. It was the Mara convention. And their rules were very clear. And I received 90% of the vote. And there was no controversy. And there was no lawsuit. It didn't have to be decided months down the road. I think the Mara members should tell the Mass GOP how to run conventions in the future. You've all heard me say this before, that the Democrats own this state. And because of that, Republicans, many of them have become discouraged and given up hope and have lost the courage to fight for our conservative values. And others have tried to win by compromising those values and running as a candidate and looking sort of like a Democrat. We've seen many of these candidates. I'm not buying that strategy.
Good.
Actually, I'm sickened by it.
Excellent.
My friends, the Democrats own all the problems in this state.
Yep.
What a great time to run as a conservative and provide solutions. It's a wonderful time. The Democrats have been the majority in this state on Beacon Hill since the 1960s. And at that time, our congressional representation down in Washington was numbered at 12. And because they've driven people out of the state, that number has fallen from 12 to 11 to 10, and to most recently 9. This is a result of Democrat policies. They have also broken promises. The Democrats have broken the promise that when the turnpike was paid for, the tolls would come down. They've broken the promise that the temporary increase in the sales tax would be removed, or would be returned back to 5%. And they've broken the promise that the temporary increase in the income and sales tax, both of those, would be returned to 5%. They're responsible for the scandals and the deaths caused at the compounding pharmacy, the drug lab, and DCF. They, the Democrats, have caused the doubling of food stamp recipients and the tripling of its costs. They're responsible for the abuse and fraud in the EBT card system for $400 million a year, and they are responsible for doling out EBT cards to over 1,000 dead people. These are Democrat problems. They've driven out businesses, they've driven out jobs, and they've driven out people. And they have welcomed in law-breaking, illegal immigrants and rewarded them for their bad behavior with lavish benefits that drain our pocketbooks and our wallets to the tune of $1.8 billion a year. These are all Democrat problems. We lost the battle at Bunker Hill because we ran out of ammunition. We have, and we have had, plenty of ammunition and all these abuse, fraud, and scandal caused by the Democrats. So the question is, why don't we win elections? The answer is simple. We haven't had candidates with the willingness, the resolve, or the backbone to use this ammunition, stand up to the Democrats, and make them own up to the problems that they've created. But times are changing. Times are changing, and it's time that we fought back. So the first thing we do is we stand up to these liberal clowns, we make them own up to the problems that they created, and then we provide solutions. And so as governor, I removed the tolls, and I reduced the sales and income tax to 5% because that's what our government promised us. If we can't trust our government, it's no use talking about anything else. That's step one. Then I make all civil service employees mandated reporters of abuse, fraud, and scandal. These employees are stewards and guardians of our taxpayer dollars. It's time that they are accountable for it. I will ensure that all EBT card recipients, on the EBT cards, there's a photo ID of the EBT card recipient and all caregivers, and that cash withdrawals from ATMs be prohibited. I will ensure that all cases of fraud and abuse are prosecuted, and EBT card recipients will have to pass a drug test. Most importantly, most importantly, EBT card recipients will have to have a heartbeat. Here's a common sense Fisher document for EBT card recipients. No pulse, no card. I will make Massachusetts a magnet for businesses in a 4-step program. We reduce the corporate income tax. We reduce the overburdensome rules and regulations that drive businesses from here. We stop the taxpayer funding of fad industries like evergreen solar. $56 million of our taxpayer dollars is down the tubes. The company closes doors after 2 years, and 800 employees are out of jobs. And we eliminate the obscure inventory tax. This prevents distribution centers from coming here to Massachusetts. Massachusetts has an ideal location for distribution centers. You know the old adage in real estate, location, location, location. Massachusetts is in the center of New England, 3 New England states to our north, 2 to the south, New York is to our left, and by the way, I always want to keep Massachusetts to the right of New York. Eliminating the inventory tax will bring distribution centers here that can serve all of New England and yes, New York. It will bring in administrative jobs, logistics jobs, transportation jobs. It's a boom for Massachusetts. You should also know that under a Fisher administration, illegal immigration will be illegal. I'm not talking about creating another government bureaucracy and hiring more government employees and having them track down illegals, arrest them, and put them in jail in hope that the federal government would deport them. The common sense solution is just to turn off the benefits. The reason that illegal immigrants come to Massachusetts is they know they get more benefits in Massachusetts than all the other New England states combined. We turn off the benefits and they will self-deport to the next big blue state. And when I speak about addressing these issues, I'm talking about their serious reform. I'm not talking about eliminating them. I've been out of work myself. I've been on transitional assistance. I know what it means. It's for the needy, not for the greedy, not for the people who abuse it. And know that I heartily support immigration, legal immigration, the type of immigration that brought Rafael Cruz to this country. That's my vision for Massachusetts. Please help me make it a reality. And oh, by the way, people have asked me, Mark, when you get to Beacon Hill, it's just full of Democrats. How would you work with them? Why would I want to? They've created all the problems. I'm there to provide solutions. Well, won't you reach across the aisle? No. Yay. They can reach across the aisle to me. I'm reaching across Washington Common to common men and women and bringing their ideas to Beacon Hill. And if the Democrats want to, for a change, work for people instead of against them, then by definition, we'll be working together.
That's awesome.
Remember what Ronald Reagan said when they wanted to know his position on Russia? Very simple, very straightforward. We win, they lose. My friends, we talk about Reagan. It's time we started acting like him. It's time we started fighting like him so we could start winning like him.
Yes.
Lastly, in order to win, we need to raise money. I would encourage you to visit my website. It's markfisher2014.com. There are also some donor cards on the table outside. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for staying in the fight. Don't give up, and God bless.